Hey, how you doing? This is John. Oh, let me get rid of this echo. How you doing? Can you hear me? Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Well, let me know if you like this. I discovered a way that I could use my webcam and my phone to do a picture-in-a-picture, but I have yet to discover a way to comb my hair before I go live. So just let me know if everything sounds good. Let me know if there's an echo. So I'll do this. I figured out how to do this on a Friday night with Kelsey Shannon when we did Warlock. Oh my God, that was so much fun. And we will continue that next Friday at 7 p.m. We'll do the next batch of issues of the Warlock, 2 beards, 1 comic. And then that I'll go live with my comic. Heroic Tales will be going live next Friday at 9 p.m. I will be on Michael Bancroft's channel. We will have a launch party there. So I guess this is time to start getting in high gear promotion. I'm so nervous. I'm so excited. So let's adjust the chat. We got Fabrizio Aiello in the house. Fabrizio Aiello is the creator, owner, guru, love child, whatever you want to say, of Horace H. Hoover, a comic that only 2 issues came out so far, and I am completely obsessed with this character. I am so obsessed with this character that Horace H. Hoover is in Heroic Tales, but he's not in Heroic Tales. I will be cryptic like that, and that's going to be hard to keep under my hat for the next couple of months until you get the comic in your hand and understand what I'm talking about. But first, oh, you can see me. Tim Hortons coffee. Tastes like maple syrup and Canadian bacon. So Fabrizio says, let's take these unique character designs and make them all wear red and blue. Yellow. Yeah. I know this is blasphemy, but I'm not the biggest Jim Lee fan. I like his art. I think it's a good comic book art, but I don't know. People go nuts over him. I just lost 25 subscribers. Speaking of subscribers, could you subscribe to my Substack? I underuse it, meaning I don't spam you. I should send out a message every day this week leading up to my launch, and let's get subscribers. I can't even speak. I'm so sleepy. I stayed up till 4 a.m. playing stupid Civilization. Check out Heroic Tales #1. That's my comic. It goes live the 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time. Oh my God, it's happening. It's finally happening. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. Haldir, the mod, how you doing? Thank you for putting my links. What Geeks Do, thank you. Again, thank you for that opening music thing. I love that. I love that. So here we go. We got 7 people in the chat. And oh, we got Tony Dimes over here. Tony Dimes, the rapper. He's got Sunday Gravy over on Spotify. Tony, open invite to come back on my channel, and we'll do another video. That was a lot of fun. Zach Tan, how you doing, Zach Tan? How's everybody? So good. There's no issues with the mic. Everything sounds good. Cool. So I'm using my phone and I'm using my webcam. All right. So I always like to stall a little bit, give people a chance to come on in. And oh, Marcus is here. Marcus is in New York right now. He's going to the Comic Art Expo in Manhattan, and I really wanted to go, but I wish I had known about it. I feel so bad. How often does he get to come up to New York? But I just got some families. You know, I got 7 brothers and sisters. They all got 5 kids. There's always things going on every weekend, so I just can't get out of them. I feel bad, but anyway. Let's talk about this. Let's focus on it. Oh, that's weird. A little bit of a, oh, wow, my hand goes faster than the speed of light. All right. So this is Marvel Comics Group, Giant Size X-Men #1, 1975. You see it right on the cover. This is not the best condition. It just looks like it was out, maybe got into some moisture, but it's not even I bought this in that collection. So I paid $1 for it. Actually, I paid 90 cents for this. And that was around 2005. Yeah, 2005, 2006. in that collection where I said that I don't even go into that part of town anymore because I'm always thinking that they have like a roving gangs of vigilantes looking for me. So, but why is this famous? Well, the X-Men is giant size referring to the X-Men. No, it's referring to that it's 68 big pages. 68 big pages there. So without a what's the term? Beating a dead horse, burying the lead. I forget the exact term. But this is the first appearance of all of these X-Men. Last week, I did Hulk 180 and 181, which is the first appearance of everybody's favorite beclawed Canadian superhero. Oh, here we go. Have some. I should throw Tim Hortons coffee all over this in honor of that being Canadian and Wolverine being Canadian. And at the time, the X-Men was about to be canceled. How funny the quirks of fate is. X-Men was created by Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, obviously, and Stan Lee said that he was tired of coming up with secret origins for all of the characters, so he just said they were born that way, and he wanted to name the team the Mutants, which I think would have been so much better, the Mutants. But I think it was Goodman, his uncle, told him that nobody knows what mutants means. It's a terrible name. And Stan Lee famously said, well, they'll look it up. Kids aren't stupid, which to me it sums up so many things that made Marvel good. That Stan was always trying to elevate the medium, that he did not underestimate his audience. Kids aren't stupid. Whereas I think this always sounds mean when I say this, but I don't think any maliciousness, or I just think naivety or whatever. But DC was always just pandering to kids. Kids are like this. Kids are like this. Without trying to. They Marvel overestimated children. DC underestimated children. I'll put it like that. That's the nicest way I could put this. Marcus says, I bought a copy off the newsstands when I was a kid. Then the dog ate it. I got it back when I bought a collection in junior high school. Oh, good. So you still have a copy, Marcus? You still have a copy? The dog ate it. The dog ate my X-Men. So it was fighting Mutant of the Week at the time. And then somewhere around issue 12, in the letters page, Stan Lee even says this mutant on mutant stuff is getting stale. How about we just make them a regular super team? And they got an FBI liaison. I'm trying to remember his name. Agent Duncan, Fred Duncan, was that his name? And the X-Men just became like an unofficial branch of the FBI going after mutants of the week, and space aliens and stuff like that. And they went back to mutants every once in a while. But it wasn't until I don't know, even after this, if you ask me, that the whole civil rights thing came up. What do I know? I just have every copy of the X-Men up until 404. What do I know? The only issue I'm missing, I think, is number 3, I think. Oh, you sold all your comics some years ago. Okay, well, I hope you got some money for it. I got 2 offers for my collection. One was $28,000. I was like, get the hell out of here. I got one box that's worth more than $28,000, and another guy with $40,000. Both of them showed up with cash, though. I tell you, I guess they think that you're gonna look at a box full of cash and you can't. But they both looked at me like, "What are you? Nobody's ever said no before." I was like, "Get the hell out of here." I'm either making if I'm selling all my comics in one shot, it's either so that I never have to work again, or I'm addicted to drugs and I need my meth. Those are the only 2 choices. Choices. I did fine. I sold the good ones on eBay. That's what I'm probably going to be doing when I retire. When I retire, my full-time job will be selling comics on eBay, driving down to the post office. But anyway, so I forget what issue it is. I'm sure Marcus knows. Somewhere in the 60s, they canceled the X-Men. They canceled the X-Men, but I don't know why. They just turned it into a reprint. So they just reprinted older issues. And to be honest, I think I might be missing a few of them. Hello, Genuine Comics. Genuine Comics has if you have an active campaign, Dave Brink at Genuine Comics, send it to Marcus Kellegrew. We'll put it in the chat. He has Perfect 10, a comic that I've been raving about. It just gave me old school comic vibes. It was just so good. And Dave helped me out when I was in a bind. So, I will always be thankful for that. So anyway, the X-Men was about to be canceled. They turned it into a reprint issue. And then I don't know who came up with the idea. I don't know if it was the editors. I don't know if it was the writer, but somebody did a Hail Mary and said, let's just try this. Let's just try a new team of X-Men. It's going to be canceled anyway. So the X-Men was in reprints. I think it was from like 64 to 93, I think. And they just did this. All new teams. So this is the first appearance of Colossus, Nightcrawler, Thunderbird, and Storm. Obviously not the first appearance of Cyclops. And this is Deadly Genesis. So there you go. There's the backstory to this. As you can understand, I'm being very ginger. We already know that this is 1975. No need to go to the indicia. But this is the Uncanny X-Men. Is this light too dull? Let me rotate this. I always turn this light because it just makes my forehead, glow in the dark. But it's more important we see the comics than we see my forehead. So let's look at the creators. We got Len Wein over here. Who did they have as a team before? Okay, good job. Good question. The team before was the Beast, Angel, Cyclops, Iceman, Marvel Girl. Jean Grey, Marvel Girl. And I also must note, look at the visor over here, and then look at the visor over here. So they did some redesigns on the team. That was Zach Tan who asked that question. Good question. Thank you for bringing me up to speed. So we got Len Wein is the writer and the editor. So you know what? I'm going to say Len Wein came up with all of this, came up with the idea of giant size X-Men. Because I said I didn't know if it was the writer or I didn't know if it was the editor. Well, they're the same person, so I think it's a safe guess to say. But Dave Cockrum, illustrator, and Glynis Wein is the colorist. That name sounds familiar because it's Len Wein's wife. And I think her maiden name was Glynis Oliver. I'm sure Marcus could correct me on that. And John Costanza, the letterer. So here we have the X-Men in full. Again, here are the old X-Men with Cyclops with his old visor. And then we have the new X-Men. Missing from the cover were Banshee and Sunfire. Why? Because they already were in the comics. Banshee, I think, was X-Men 53, and I forget what issue Sunfire was in. And Banshee was already established as, like, again, I'm going to talk in like role-playing terms. He was already like a high-level character. He was like, I'm going to say like Banshee. We always forget, but Scott Summers around now is supposed to be like 25 years old. Wolverine is by far the oldest, but we didn't know anything about Wolverine. Last week when I showed Hulk 180 and 181 was the only other appearances of Wolverine. So we don't know anything about him. Now we're saying he's a mutant, so that he has some sort of mutant ability. And I remember as a kid, it even bothered me. How was he born with adamantium? How did he grow and stuff like that? So we know nothing about him. We don't know his powers other than he has claws. We don't even know his name. But he's in the X-Men. So therefore, there must be some sort of mutation that he was born with. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the team. But again, we know nothing about him. But Banshee, he was an Interpol agent. So what is that? That World Police. His name was Sean Cassidy. It's funny because when he debuted, we didn't think anything of Sean Cassidy. And then throughout the entire 70s, we laughed because Sean Cassidy, the singer, the do run, 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 the do run, run. And that was David Cassidy's little brother. And nowadays, we don't even remember Sean Cassidy. So it was funny. It was one of those, unfortunate aims that ran its course. But so I would say he's in like his 40s at this point. And then Sunfire, he's somehow related to the royal family of Japan. I forget exactly his story, and I forget exactly what issue he debuted in. And his family got mutated from the atomic attacks in Japan, and now he was born with this nuclear power. I don't know why. I've always been fascinated with Sunfire, and I hated when they changed this great costume into that abomination costume with the shield. Oh my God, it was just so awful. And then we got Peter Rasputin, a name that always drove me crazy because Rasputin is Russian for the wretched. So Peter's, but they just said Rasputin because of Rasputin the Mad Monk, without really doing research. So Peter, his name is Peter the Wretched, Peter Rasputin. And we got Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler. Just look at these costumes. And oh, why can't I remember his real name? Well, that's Thunderbird and Storm, or Monroe. What? Why can't I? James Proudstar. James Proudstar. So here we go. Turning the pages very gingerly. So, oh, okay. Yes, she was Glynis Oliver. Yes, you see her name, Glynis Oliver. I knew Marcus would know. Roy Thomas did collaborate with Ed Wein on the X-Men. Yeah, Roy Thomas is I always say he's the walking encyclopedia of all things comics. They didn't even know what Wolverine's mutation was. I think this time it was animal senses. Yeah, I don't know. I forget if they even say it. I kind of like when Wolverine was just this man of mystery. You know, he I just thought it was cool. We got thank you. You got your welcomes over here. We got people being polite. Remember, guys, manners count. So can we see? So we got Dusseldorf, Germany. He was born in Dusseldorf. That is why they call him Ralph. Anybody Bueller know where that comes from? And I love how, like, when they go to Dusseldorf, it becomes like a like a Hammer Films old village, of old school, horse-drawn carriage, stuff like that. And then we got Nightcrawler. He's dressed like this because he's working he's an acrobat in the traveling circus. But now they realize it's not a costume, so they're going after him. They think he's a demon. They got torches and everything like that. Even though it's 1974, they're gonna, old school witch hunt him, throwing torches. So he has enough of their nonsense. And he just jumps at them and he starts attacking them. Just notice one thing: he's not teleporting. Okay, he's not teleporting. So now he's just fighting at him. He's fighting with it. Bring the stake. We're going to kill him. I love these Mego figures. I had all of these Mego figures. I had them all. I love that Ed. And look, they got the stake. They got the stake over here. And then they have stop. Charles Xavier freezes him with his mental whammy. And he starts talking to them. Oh, come on, he's a human. Why don't you come live with me? I'll solve all your problems. I'll get rid of this freak, and I'll give him a place to stay. And then, there you go. There's Wolverine, Nightcrawler. Now, notice something. Nightcrawler did not teleport. Okay. Imagine if they never pinned down Wolverine's power. Then one issue they have him flying. Yeah. Then his name would have been the Flying Squirrel instead of the Wolverine. Cockrum didn't like Wolverine. He loved Nightcrawler, and it shows in these early issues. Yes. Nightcrawler was created by David Cockrum. Originally, he wanted to put him in the Legion of Superheroes, but they didn't put him in the Legion of Superheroes. And then when Dave Cockrum came to X-Men, put him in the X-Men. And Dave Cockrum is amazing with costume design. I just love the costume design. So, you do need clearly defined powers. Yes. So as Marcus was saying, Dave Cockrum loved Nightcrawler. And these first 10 issues of the new X-Men, it's like, well, Nightcrawler discovers a new power. And then when John Byrne came in, John Byrne loved Wolverine. And that, Wolverine became, like a third tier character to the character that he is today. So now we got, where is this? Quebec, Canada. Few people know of this secluded military installation. Fewer still know of its true purpose. So this is like the headquarters of Department H, where there's a code named Weapon X. And he's like, who's this bigwig you want me to talk to? And he's like, I'm this bigwig Wolverine, Professor Charles Xavier at your service. I'm supposed to be impressed. Because he's going to give you an offer. Okay, what's security? I'll come straight to the point. I know of your recent battle with the Hulk, and moreover, I know of your powers. What powers? You, my friend, are a mutant, and I have need of mutants. desperate need. And I love this. What about my position here? I'm offering you a chance to become a free agent, a chance to learn, to put your powers to greatest use, a chance to get out from under the red tape and big rigmarole. All right, Professor, you found your man. What? Not so fast. The government has invested a deal of money and time and money in training you. And he's like, I'll have you locked up. I'll have you can't just leave. He goes, oh yeah, try it. And he cuts his costume off, with the one claw. And of course, if you have any objections, he's like, you haven't heard The Last of Us. So I love this. The setting up the Vindicator showing up in X-Men 109. So this is the beginning of, that subplot that pretty much went with Wolverine for the next couple of years. And here we have he's going to Nashville, Tennessee, to the Grand Ole Opry. He was visiting as Megara. It's the Professor X himself. So here we got a Banshee enjoying some country music, and here comes Xavier. Hey, we want to talk. You want to join our team? Also, keep in mind, this is Glynis Oliver. This is I forget if this is Dave Cockrum and that's Len Wein, but whatever. This is Len Wein, Dave Cockrum, or vice versa. But that's Glynis Oliver. If that's what Glynis Oliver looked like, Glynis Wein. Good job. So now he gets Banshee, who has this horrible hairstyle, and then we go down here to let's see. There we go. Look at that. And then we come down to Kenya, Africa. They have like this goddess being set up. Kenya, Africa. Atop a lonely hill, there stands a great stone portal. Men come to it in humility, in their voices praised and sung of playful supplication. Oro, great goddess of the storm, the voices cry, come unto us and ease our burden. And with the hollow peal of thunder and the lonely moan of winds, the storm goddess comes. I'm here, my children. Whatever you wish of me. Here she's just like wearing a loincloth, nothing else. She's topless. Remember these early appearances of Storm, she was like this naive, primitive, I don't know, like nature spirit, and that they need rain. She goes, I'll do what I can. And she just turns on the rain and she goes flying around all naked. The storm comes. She's shooting lightning everywhere. They get the storm that they need. And in the midst of this, Xavier shows up. I got an offer that you will not refuse. An offer. What do you have to offer a goddess? You have land, Oro, and people who adore you. I offer you a world and people who may fear you, hate you, but people who need you nonetheless. The world I offer is not beautiful, but is not real. Far more real than this fantasy. He's like, you're a mutant. You're not a goddess. And I'll teach you how to use your power. And she's like, oh, wow. Because right here, he says, you are no goddess or you're a mutant and you have responsibilities. Come with me, child. Taste the world outside. You may find it flavor bitter or surprisingly sweet. Because you present a most peculiar argument, and I sense a deep sincerity in your words. All right, I'll come with you. Perhaps the time has come for me to leave the nest at last. So she's supposed to be young. That's one of the things that we forget about Oro, because she's always presented as this tall, regal, powerful woman, which she is. But she's supposed to be like 19, 20 years old right over here. In the issue, was it 139 when they introduced Kitty Pryde? Kitty Pryde says like, oh, wow, she's only a few years older than me, but she, and Kitty Pryde was supposed to be 13, you know what I mean? So it just shows you the difference in age. And I always can't help but wonder, did Xavier use his powers because like on them to get them to join? Like Wolverine was just like, too easy. Look at her. She's worshipped as a goddess. People do need rain and stuff like that. She's come hang out in the X-Men. Don't give these people rain. Don't help these people. Yes, he does seem surprisingly convincing. Yes, so I always couldn't help. Plus, I don't like Xavier. I always found him to be creepy and manipulative and the biggest hypocrite of all the X-Men. And then how many times does he turn into a villain? And wreck stuff. In the very first time he turned into the Enigma in the X-Men Micronauts 4-issue series. And then later he turned Onslaught, and he just and then he's like not professing, but he's like getting all horny over a 16-year-old girl, in X-Men #1 or X-Men #2. All hail, X-Men senses are tingling, and there you are. Hey, Shadowhawk, how you doing? How you doing, Shadowhawk? So to me, I wouldn't be surprised if and you'll see why he is in desperate need of X-Men. So here he is talking to Shiro Yoshida. This is Sunfire, and look at that costume. Oh my! I always love that costume. It's a stylized version of the Japanese flag, and then out in Siberia. So here we got Colossus. Look at, he's just like a Hulk when he's in his human form, and then we got Spider-Man in the Trap. We got advertisement Spider-Man in the Trap. He's fighting this evil Jack Nicholson over here. He throws fruit pies at them. That shows you how much hatred that Spider-Man has for evil Jack Nicholson. He doesn't even give him Twinkies or cupcakes. He gives him horrible, horrible fruit pies. So there's going to be a tractor accident. And Colossus over here just transforms. Peter Rasputin transforms into Colossus. And there's the first appearance of Alanya, who becomes Magic. And he stands there, and kaboom, the tractor just explodes. Kaboom. And then he transforms back. And Xavier says, "Come with me to America. Get out of." Because, but I possess so much power, as I say, does not belong to the state. And he says, "Power such as yours belongs to the world, Peter, to be used for the good of all. And believe me, your powers are needed." So he talks to the parents. What should we do? He goes, "Do as your heart says. You're a good person." And last but not least, he goes out to the Southwest, Camp Verde, Arizona. John Proudstar. It's John Proudstar. Oh, you can't see this. John Proudstar. Not James Proudstar. James Proudstar is the brother we never knew about, who showed up later because, he's out chasing the buffalo. He grabs the buffalo. He fights the buffalo, and brings it down. And Xavier tells him, your powers are needed. He goes, and I love this. He's all like angry, out in the white man's world, blah, blah, blah. And I love it. He goes, "I can't believe it's true. You're Apache. Perhaps Apaches are afraid. You're like a child." So he goes, "Nobody calls me that, coward. All right, I'll come out and join him." And he's like, "All right." Surprisingly convincing, like they said. So here we have the first appearance of all the X-Men in costume assembled. I'm just trying to maybe if I bring the camera closer, we'll get a better picture. Sorry for making everybody nauseous by moving the camera around. But here we got, I love this group shot over here. So we got them all. Wolverine's all the way in the back. Nightcrawler, just look at that cool costume. Look at this. That is the best. You're never going to get a better costume on Storm than that. That is just awesome. Just so good. And of course, right away they're bickering. James Proudstar is John Proudstar is arguing with Xavier. It just doesn't seem like I could get the camera in a good place. I'm losing my patience. What are we doing? He goes, "We're just waiting for one more." And here comes Cyclops. He's got the same costume, but a subtly designed visor. And, so he's got the new visor instead of that more like old school looking one. Look at Banshee over here. It just looks ridiculous. Look at that. Look at that hair. And here they are talking about everything. And then we got Count Dante over here. Count Dante. And now we're up to the brass taxes. Why are we here? Why are we here? And Zactan says, "Storm got an upgrade in this panel." Yeah, she looks great. Best costume. Oh, and just for reference, there's the old visor. And now we got the new visor. Unbelievable upgrade, if you ask me. So here we got the lost adventure of the old X-Men. So we got, Havoc, Polaris. Polaris has the green hair. Havoc has that tri-band of metal on his head. Iceman, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and the Angel, and they detect a mutant. They detect a mutant that's super powerful. We got to go get this mutant. We got to go, and here they are, talking about where this mutant is, and they're going to the island of Krakoa. Byrne hated the new visor. He did. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Was it more difficult to draw, or he just didn't like it? So here they are. The touchdown moments later, the VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, lands on the island of Krakoa because we had difficulty finding this mutant. So, they're looking around, they're pointing, and what's going on? I'm ashamed to say I never even saw what hit it. So they land on Krakoa. They get attacked, and Cyclops is back home, or Cyclops is back in the jet. Like, what happened? What happened? It's traumatized. Oh, I keep forgetting that you can't see. So he's like, what's going on? He's ashamed to admit. He's like, oh, my visor's gone. So that's why he needs a new visor, because it got lost in that sudden flash that he can't recall. Look at his eyeballs over here. What's going on? What's going on? Because I have to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I got to run. And he goes and flies all the way back. And Xavier's like, what's going on? What's going on? What happened to your eyes? Why aren't you blasting anything? He goes, your eyes are glowing again. Oh, he thought he lost his powers, and boom. His eyes are firing up again. He starts smashing everything, and now they have to get him a new visor. That's the origin of the new visor. So now you find us. Now what? Because we have to go back and find the original X-Men. He's like, incorrect, Cyclops. You got to go back to Krakoa. I don't. I'll have no part of this fool's errand. Sunfire. You thought Wolverine was trouble. Sunfire was like the biggest, what's the word? Troublemaker. It's like, oh, it's like I don't understand. He goes, you are fit to help. He goes, I don't even like my fellow mutants. Because I certainly don't want to risk my life to help these people. It's like, all right, I feel sorry for you. See ya. Bye. And they're like, she's like, I don't like being confined in this airplane. Whatever. He goes, so look at this X-Men. We got Sunfire, who's just like this disagreeable to the point where he quits the team already. John Proudstar, just racist, just hates white people. Storm, who's just like, she was like this 15, 16-year-old worshipped goddess over in Africa, and Colossus, he was a farm boy, and Nightcrawler, who's like, I don't know, am I a demon? What's going on? And so now all of a sudden Sunfire shows up. He's like, because do I have to fly all myself? Let me in. So he says no, and then joins the team. He's just a contrarian. So here's the island of Krakoa. Keep in mind, the new storyline of the island of Krakoa goes all the way back to the first appearance of the new X-Men. So they land. I just love Storm. So Cyclops right away is giving them assignments. It's a pleasure to be working with you, laddie. Whoopee. They're just the most disagreeable team in comics. No, not him. I do not hear Cyclops giving you Sunfire and Nightcrawler will start searching for the. No, not him. So even Nightcrawler was scary looking. You know what I mean? And nobody liked Nightcrawler. No, even Sunfire didn't want to be with them. Because Thunderbird and I will handle the West, and we're all going to drop off. So now the teams are working. Notice Nightcrawler is not teleporting. Banshee's flying with Wolverine because this is a signal storm, and Colossus is all happy. He's like the only good one. She's like, no, don't jump. Look at this. Look at these. I love all this. So she grabs him. And remember, Colossus is like 6'4", full of muscles right over here. And Storm grabs him with one hand. So she's got to be pretty powerful. And these two are working together. They're going to land. They're broken up to search. And like in the seconds that they land, the Stratojet, so it's not even called the Blackbird yet. The Stratojet is gone. Now, I forgot to say this. What is everybody's powers? So Thunderbird, he has super senses. super strength, super agility, super endurance. So he's just like the perfect specimen, but he also has like super senses. Sounds like Wolverine, you know. But Wolverine, all we know about Wolverine is he has claws at this point. Nightcrawler, super agility, and he looks like a demon. That's it. That's it. Cyclops, we all know he's got the blast. Banshee's got the sonic scream. Colossus turns into armor. Storm's got the weather control. And who am I forgetting? Sunfire's got like flight and nuclear fire blasts. Let's split up, gang. Yes. Never split the party. Never split the party. If only Cyclops Scott Summers had time to play Dungeons and Dragons as a youth. So let's go. So they're all splitting up, and plants and fauna and flora is attacking him. He's getting Cyclops is blasting, and look at this temple. It's in absolute reasonable shape. Let's go in. We already got attacked by plants and vegetation. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, Len Wein thought Wolverine's claws came out of his gloves, not his wrist. Yeah, they didn't know anything. They didn't know anything about Wolverine at this point. At one point, they were thinking that he was a high evolutionary, actually evolved Wolverine into a human form, that he had gloves with claws attached to him. They didn't know anything, and they didn't tell us anything. He's just on the team. And vague reference to his powers. So here we got Storm and Colossus. So boom, he turns into steel, and Storm has no idea. This is the first time she saw him. She's like impressed by it. And what happens now? There's an avalanche. The mountain's claving in him. Colossus is using a tree to bat everything away. Storm's using the wind to blow everything away. Naturally forming teams, thus proving that Cyclops had like an innate leading ability to put the teams together perfectly. Now we got, Banshee and Wolverine got a bad case of the crabs over here. So the giant crabs are coming to attack, and Wolverine's just going nuts. Good thing they're not the only ones with big sharp claws. Wolverine has claws of his own, and he likes to use them. And you notice you never really see Wolverine stabbing anything. It's just, it's just hinted at everything. Basically, it's like stab man. And then Banshee over here is using his sonic scream. It always bothered me because a Banshee is supposed to be the spirit of a dead female. Banshees are always female, and then they have a man Banshee. But I just don't think that they did a lot of research back then. The standard for superhero names has gone up, which is why it's unforgivable that there's a superhero named Cable. Oh God, I hate Cable. And Gambit. Gambit's power should be luck-based. If you're named Gambit, your power should be luck-based. Deadpool's a terrible name also. All right, so he defeat. I'm not a big fan of the Liefeld character, although Gambit was Chris Claremont, right? So he defeats all the crabs. The team gets back together again, showing that it really didn't make up a lot of sense that they split up. Yes, splitting up the group is a JSA JLA trope that Len used a lot. Yes, yeah. So let's split up the team, go on adventures, and here, boom. Remarkable observation is you have talent for stating the obvious. So what's happening is they're getting attacked by like these mutated like harpy eagles or something like that, and Sunfire is blasting them. And Nightcrawler is just jumping around. He's jumping around, and what's his? He's just an acrobat. How appropriate. He's not teleporting. He's just he's getting saved by Sunfire, and Sunfire is making fun of him because that's the kind of jerk Sunfire is. And now they all formed a team again, showing how useless it was to split up, other than comic book history trope. And now they're trying to get in, and I love this. You got Colossus's fist, you got Cyclops blast, you got Storm over here. They just teamwork to blast the door down, and they open up this chamber, and what do they find? The old X-Men. So we got Angel, we got Polaris, we got Havoc, we got Iceman, we got Marvel Girl. Who's not there? The Beast. Why isn't the Beast there? Because he quit and joined the Avengers. He quit. He got his own comic, Amazing Avengers 15, turned furry. He took a potion, turned furry, and joined the Avengers. So he was not part of this team. So Cyclops is taken by surprise. He's like, "What's going on here?" Now we know what's going on. Of course, he gets Jean, his love. They're all freaking out. There's an earthquake. Everything collapses, and then look at this monster just arises. Yeah, just this monster just arises, and this is Krakoa, the island that walks like a man. So they're talking about atomic tests in the South Pacific. It mutated whatever organisms over there, and Krakoa is now, he's not a mutant human, he's a mutant, some sort of organism that evolved rapid mutation radiation, somewhere near Monster Island kind of thing. So the island of Krakoa itself could manifest itself into this being. So the island itself is a mutant. I think that is such a cool concept. It is such a cool concept. The island itself is sentient. So the island sent out a signal. Cerebro picked up the power. The X-Men went there, and then Krakoa basically is like the god of this island. He controls all the animals. He controls all the vegetation, but he needs power. And as much he eats like decaying flesh or whatever, like detritus, is that the word? But when the mutants showed up, he realized he could feed off the mutants' power, and that would cause him to grow ever more powerful. So he captures the X-Men, and what does he do? He finds that Cyclops is. We got to go tell Xavier. We got to. So Krakoa finds out that there's more of these beings that he could sap their power. So he puts like a psychic block on Cyclops and sends Cyclops back as a lure to get more mutants. Oh man, that is just so cool. Let's look at these comments. No man is an island, but one island is a man. Yeah. Dave Cockrum did a great job with all these characters. Absolutely, Dave Cockrum does not get the credit he deserves for designing all these characters. So now this is Krakoa explaining his motivations, which I just said, and now they're all fighting Krakoa. So we got Thunderbird over here, we got Angel over here. So now we got the old X-Men, the new X-Men. Look at this group shot over here. Look at that. Everybody's fighting. Notice who's not doing anything? Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is not doing a damn thing. It's not teleporting. And then Xavier's straining to use his powers. So Xavier is doing some whammies on him. And here comes some of the biggest BS in the history of comics. You ready for this? So Xavier is doing a mental battle with Krakoa to keep him occupied and distracted. And what happens now? Cyclops says, Storm, do this. And Storm is concentrating all the power of the elemental storms. Polaris is down here. Polaris's power is magnetism. She's a female Magneto. So she's using her magnetism powers. And, they're making a magic science circuit. Their power is being exceeded. And Cyclops is going to harness all that power into his eye beams. And he's like, don't, you'll be killed. Use me. I'm Havok. Nobody cares about me. I'm a lesser known character. Cyclops has more marketability in movies and everything, and nobody cares about Havok. I have a bad costume, and I will do it. So there's this magic science circuit over here. We got a couple of moments of drama. Xavier's like, I'm straining myself. And Krakoa is taunting them. I will destroy you, and everything. And now, what do? They're using the power. It's being focused on Havok. Havok is now blasting Cyclops' eye beams, combining the power. All of this magic science energy is combining. And what does it do? It magically cancels out the gravitational pull around this island, and the island gets yanked into space, thrown into space. I call BS on that, but that's that's such a DC thing. And of course, there's the water rushes in. Polaris pulls metal particles from everything, and Jean Grey reinforces it with the telekinesis, and they just, ride out the storm, and then they use their powers to pull up the ship, and they're all smiling, they're all survived, and then they fly away into the sunset. It's just the hokeyest ending. And then they had extra pages, so they're reprinting. I forget what issue this is, but this is all reprints explaining Cyclops' powers. The anatomy's wrong, and here we go. Just Cyclops. That's one of the things they did, is they went through a little run with all the X-Men. Like, they had a regular story, and then they would do a focus on each of the characters. Here's Bobby Drake looking like a maniac. Scripted by Arnold Drake, drawn by Werner Roth. Arnold Drake, if you remember, is from the Doom Patrol. So he's just, explaining their powers. At first he was all frosty, and now he became crystalline ice. He's, the opposite of the Human Torch. And here we got Jean Grey, written by Linda Veit, penciled by Werner Roth. Linda Veit, this is like the only time I know this credit. And she's, talking about her telepathy. She didn't have telepathy at this point. She had just telekinesis. But I think in the main story, she had telepathy, but nowhere near Xavier's level. And there we go. And you know what? I just saw this. She does kind of look like Famke Jackson over here. She does. I just wish Famke Jackson's hair was a little bit more red. So there you go. That's one of the most important comics in comic book history, if you ask me. It's a little off, which is driving me crazy. The next comic was X-Men 94, and X-Men 94 was the first X-Men in a regular series. So this, before this, it was a reprint title. The 90, was it 93 or 94? I forget, but whatever. 90, 91 were reprints, and then this came out. Now, I always use this comic in reference to my role-playing game. My role-playing game is Villains and Vigilantes. And speaking of Villains and Vigilantes, I finally got a copy of this. The Villains and Vigilantes card game, sealed copy. I paid $23 for it on eBay. If you could see that. I didn't even open it yet. I got it yesterday. I'm weird that way. I like to get things in the mail, and then I like to look at them for like a couple of days and then open them. I know the anticipation is fun. But one of the things in my Villains Vigilantes game that I do is everybody has inventing points. So if your intelligence, say, is 15, you divide it by 10. So you have 1.5 inventing points. And then every time you go up a level, you get another 1.5. You get 1/10 of your intelligence. And you have to use a full inventing point at a time. An inventing point is you could learn a knowledge, you could learn a skill, you could learn a language, things like that. You could also use it for to invent. So like Reed Richards is always inventing things. Well, you have a finite point. So an inventing point is a brilliant idea in the game. I also use a rule called power stunts. So you could use, take off an inventing point, and what you're doing, since all powers come from another dimension that they call the imagination, you're literally pulling power into your brain. Nobody has the power to burst into flames and not burn and fly around and control fire. You do it because you think you do. Your power comes from another. This is rules for Heroic Tales, and this is rules for my role-playing game. So with your inventing point, you just pull power from this other dimension, and you just use your power in it. It's basically comic book logic. So what do? Cyclops and Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Havoc, all these guys spent an inventing point, made their rolls, and used all their powers in a way that they normally don't, to cancel the gravity to defeat Krakoa. So I always try to explain comic books logic and mishaps and unexplainable things of powers for in my role-playing games, because again, my V&V game, I try to emulate Marvel Comics and DC Comics. What does this comment say? The costume for Jean is interesting, like a period costume. Yeah, I this is my favorite costume. Well, no, that Phoenix costume is outstanding, but I do love this costume too. Those are my two favorite, especially in X-Men 137, drawn by John Byrne. This costume is just great. Old fashioned, but for a specific time and fit. Yes, I agree. It fit. Another thing I do in my role playing game is because energy is coming from another dimension through your brain, and humans weren't ready for this power yet. You'll find out that we got this ability too soon, so it alters the way you think. So you're constantly fighting bad thoughts, like corruption, like the One Ring, and sooner or later you can go nuts and go metapsychotic. And most villains have some form of metapsychosis. So there can be an argument that in my world, heroic tales, that they're not guilty through reasons of insanity, but they don't know that yet. The physics of superpowers are not fully explored yet. I know that. Some of my players know it, but the characters in the world don't know that. Oh, this must be Jimmy. You could use inventing points for spells as well. Yes. I didn't want to go into everything about inventing points, but that's what they're brilliant ideas locked into your head. And since powers are controlled by thoughts, you could use them as a brilliant idea to use your powers in ways that the rules that break the rules. We call that power stunts. Sanity points, cool. Literally mad scientists. Yes. There's going to be quite a few mad scientists in heroic tales. First off, I love that trope. Second off, we have mad scientists in real life. But anyway, I always look like Jean Grey was the model for that. So she started out as a good guy, sweet, innocent. She got powerful. She leveled up. She got powers. She bought extra powers. She got more power, and then she strained herself, and Jason Wingard, Mastermind, was messing with her, and she failed her roles, and she went metapsychotic and became Dark Phoenix. And that is one of the inspirations for the rules in my game. For those of you who are interested in this stuff, you could go to www.villainsandvigilantesforum.com, and if you click on the badge, if you click on this, when you go there, I have this symbol. If you click on it, my house rules will show up, and you could read all about my house rules. My house rules is like as long as, if not longer than, the rule book Villains Vigilantes. And by the way, I contacted Scott Bizarre, owner of Villains Vigilantes, and he gave me his blessing to stat out the characters. So my goal on the stretch goals, I'm going to have the 6 cards, and on the back, I'm going to have the characters statted out. So there you go. So more people who buy, the more statted out character cards you'll get. I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about. This is a wonderful comic, like Vaughn Coleman said. Oh, Vaughn Coleman, his Phenomenova launched Friday. Go check out that Phenomenova. He's a good guy. This comic looks great. Haldir has a link, Village Vigilante, and let me know if you have any problems. I know we got attacked so many times, tried to get hacked so many times, so we put up all these security systems. So if you try to register and it doesn't work, or if you're having issues, let me know. I will manually put you in. Also, keep in mind that forum is on its last legs. It is so old that the code is like no longer being supported by new. So I'm gonna have to manually take down all the posts that I like with my story ideas and rules and things like that, and manually save them on a file and start a whole new forum someplace else. That's something I'm thinking about doing if my comic is successful, is having a message board and everything for heroic tales, villains, vigilantes, and everything like that. Start over from scratch, but I do not want these wonderful story ideas, and memories to disappear. So, I just paid for another 4 years, I think. So I think this might be the last 4 years of this domain. And then I got to figure out what to do moving forward. Any ideas, help, suggestions are welcome. So anybody want to say anything? We got 24 people. Anybody? Bueller? Do you like this format where you can see my crazy face glowing in the light? Because I gotta have a light on so you could actually see the comics. I can't have these overhead fluorescent lights on. I if I was a good smart person, I would. Anybody have any lighting techniques they want to message me and explain how to become a professional YouTuber guy? Paul Ferrantino, old and outdated, just like the guy who put it up. Yes, Paul, you put it up. You are old. No, Paul is the administrator. Paul is one of my players. Paul has a character called Magnum who will make a cameo in issue 2 of Heroic Tales, and then later on, Jimmy, who is this guy. This is my friend Jimmy. He's watching on Facebook, and this is my friend Paul. Jimmy, I've known since 3rd grade. Paul, I've known since college. We all play Villains and Vigilantes together. They are big helpers in me make the comic, make all these stories and everything like that. They have lived through all the stories that you will be reading about in Heroic Tales. But I always felt bad about using their characters because, if they make up a character, it's their character. And I was like, I don't want to cause any problems. So I made up, I used NPCs and elevated them to PC. And then they were like, oh, aren't you going to use my characters? So I will use stories for their characters later on. And in fact, if things are successful, I was asking Jimmy if he thinks it would be fun to write one of the stories. So that's something that we're thinking about in the future. And what Paul has been the administrator for the Villains and Vigilante website. Who says what's my message board? This is my message board. What geeks do. This is my message board. It's been up, I'm going to say, for 20 years. Paul, would you agree? For 20? And at one point, it was the only active site on the internet for Villains and Vigilantes, to the point where the two, the Scott Bizarre, who owns Villains Vigilantes, and Jeff D and Jack Herman, who created Villain, they had to do a legal dispute. They were both messaging me to try to get me to endorse one side, and I'm like, I just want to play the game, blah, blah, blah. And then once the Jeff D side tried to sue me for what? For making the game popular. And then Scott Bizarre won the lawsuit, and then Jeff D left me alone. So I do not have a fond memory. And it's a shame because I love Jeff D's artwork. I love his work in D&D. I love the game V&V, and then he threatens to sue the only guy who kept his game active for 20 years. But what do you want? This format worked. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're talking about my ugly little I can't even point. There we go, right there. My ugly little uncombed hair. Here I am. I forgot that I was going to be in it. I'm trying to figure out how to superimpose comic footage over vintage. Yeah, I need to learn how to edit. If anybody knows how to edit and they want to teach an old dog new tricks, help. Oh, so as I was saying about Paul is the administrator. He is the tech guy. Without Paul, there would be no Villains Vigilantes forum. Every day some sort of problem arises that he fixes, and quite frankly, he's getting tired of it, and I don't blame him. And I'm just thankful that he did it for as long as he did, because I got to say, since I started working on my comic, I kind of neglected the forum. That it's kind of dead right now. But I'm hoping that if the comic is successful, we will make a revival of all this in a new form, like a phoenix. It will rise from the ashes. What else? Oh, Back Phenomenova. Yes, Carl Volman book. It looks great. It looks great. It launched Friday, and he's doing good. He's up to $5,000 already. Good for him. Overall, very good issue. The ending could have been better. Yes, I thought the ending was a little Deus Ex Machina. For me to and Krakoa flew off into space. Does anybody know how it came back to Earth? Because obviously it's a big deal in the modern X-Men. I would have had they found some the original organic remains of the creature that got mutated, with veins, stuff like that pumping throughout the island, and have Wolverine stab it. You know what I mean? How cool would that have been? That would have been a cooler. And the island just becomes this. It's still there, so it would still be a future setting. Of course, you could always say Krakoa is slowly regenerated, because good villains never die. Yeah. How cool would that have been? This whole flying into space thing, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Marcus with the knowledge. Linda Fight wrote the cat was married to Herb Trimpe. Oh, okay. Thanks for filling that. I asked the question. Marcus delivered the answer. Sign up to my Substack. Again, I will not spam you. I have a 1930 Chicago nighttime street scene that I want to use as part of my Renfield promo video. Cool. That sounds interesting. Try A. Maybe Copilot would do it for you. Oh, we're not allowed to talk about AI. Oh, why I want to. So there you go. Is Fabrizio still here? Fabrizio? I was going to ask if Fabrizio knew any timelines of when his Horace H. Hoover is relaunching. You know, Horace H. Hoover was at Alterna. I don't know the details. I don't want to know the details. I don't care about the details. I'm not into drama, but he decided to go off on his own, and he's going to have a campaign for relaunch of issue 1, 2, and 3 on new paper, some new art, new covers. I can't wait. I love that comic. And again, I'm not saying Horace H. Hoover is not in Heroic Tales, but he's in Heroic Tales. Same with Walter Nancy. So, okay, I've been talking for an hour. My coffee cup is one last sip and this will be empty. 22 people. I love doing this. This is my favorite thing. I have to say, I love the Two Beards, One Comic that I did with Kelsey on Friday. That was so much fun. I would love to do that more often, but that's up to Kelsey. Kelsey will come back to talk about Warlock with me. Finish, I don't know if we'll finish because we still got 6 comics and 2 of them are double-sized annuals. But I'm going to make all my. That's what I normally do. I do this and then I make all my StreamYard, set up all the videos that I have planned for the week. I got to talk with Michael Bancroft to confirm that he is launching my comic with me on Friday. So the clock is ticking. It's less than a week now. Oh my God, my stomach just started to hurt. Oh my God. So did the X-Men get canceled? No. This brought it back. It went to 94 and it was bi-monthly. So it took forever to get an issue. It was every 2 months you get an issue, which it meant it was a heartbeat away. It was a cat's fart away from being canceled. Amazing. This comic was this close to going away. And Len Wein left, and then Chris Claremont came in. Dave Cockrum stayed with Chris Claremont for a couple of issues. John Byrne, Terry Austin took over, and that was it. And it was still only one comic. It became monthly, and it came out only one comic. And I'm trying to remember when it wasn't until Claremont was on for almost 80 issues before they did a second X-Men comic, and then it became a phenomenon. And Louise Simonson was the editor that turned X-Men into just a comic to a franchise. Later, gotta go food shopping. Okay, see you later, Paul. Thanks for all your help. Check out Devil Flyer on Fund My Comic. I'm seriously thinking of building a coffin for that one sequence. So anything, Bueller? Anybody? Okay, I've been talking for over an hour. I'll filibuster for a second. If I don't see any more comments, we'll shut this down. My comic Heroic Tales launches on Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Zach Tan, you too have a blessed day. Thank you. Please consider it's my comic. It's a love letter to old school comics. I don't know what else to say. If anything, the art is phenomenal. I'm nervous. All the fun stuff is done. The comic is 90% done. I just got to get it lettered now. And then, but now the fun stuff, the stuff that I, talking to the printer, getting the files prepped up, going to the delivery service, having it shipped out. Oh my God, I'm so nervous thinking about that, but it'll be fun. Oh, my crazy hair. Everything has been a challenge, but everybody has been helpful. Great stuff. Thanks. Can't wait to play the card game. On my way to New York City. Sorry, Marcus. Did you go to your sister's coffee shop up there in Tarrytown? All right. I'm going to go. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.